How many ways do you make money in your business? I want you to count. How many different sources of revenue do you have in your one business? And I'm not talking about multiple businesses and multiple streams of income from different ways, different avenues or different sources. How many ways do you make money in your business? If it's not at least 3, you need to be listening to this. I'm going to give you 10, and maybe a bonus, different avenues, different revenue sources that you can have and you might be missing in your business. People talk about focus on one thing. I don't dispute that, right? Your one thing may be coaching or who you coach. Or as an entrepreneur, it's your singular product or your singular service. Focus on one thing. There's a whole book written about it. But in that one thing, you can have multiple ways of making money and bringing in money. And so that is what we're going to talk about today. So before we get into that, I am Kanisha Hart. I am a speaker and I'm a podcast host. My goal is to grow this channel to 10,000 subscribers in the next 30 days. I know that's crazy, which is going to be by September 30th, 2024. Today is September 2nd. And I am on here because I have a podcast called Coach Up Podcast, and I have had it for a year and a half. And I have the privilege of helping struggling coaches and struggling entrepreneurs and new coaches to build their business to their very first 6-figure year in 12 months, right? And I do that by interviewing 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure earning coaches on how they have built their business to that level. And I get all their strategies and distill their strategies and their techniques down to practical, applicable techniques for you to use to build your business to your first 6 figures. So if you're a struggling coach, if you're a new coach, if your goal and desire is to hit 6 figures in a year or more in your business, this is where you want to be. I also speak about helping coaches and new entrepreneurs to forge through the fears that hold them back or the confusion that holds them back from getting to their first 6-figure year. So that's what I do. And I am jumping into the YouTube pool. I started it, didn't finish it, wasn't consistent. This is my 30-day momentum building, and I need your help. I am setting a huge goal, and I want a huge goal, and I need your help to do so. And so if you find value in what I'm talking about, what I'm sharing, I'm going to have other guests on because obviously I'm a podcast host, so I talk to other guests as well. And over the next 30 days, I'm going to bombard you with every bit of information that you need to have the practical applications, techniques that you need to build your business to 6 figures in the next 12 months or sooner. I'm going to have all of the practical steps that you need to get through the fears that are holding you back and help you identify the things that are causing you to be afraid that you don't even know are fear-based that are holding you back so that your future can stop being held hostage. And we're going to talk about the areas of expertise that you may have heard a little bit about, but you need more information on in order to move quickly and build momentum to get to 6 figures. So that's what we're going to do here on the Connection Collaboration channel, based on the Coach Up podcast and me as your speaker, Kanisha Hart. So knowing all that, let's dive into these 10 plus 1 ways of bringing revenue into your business, even though you're focusing on one single business and one single aspect. So I want to make sure I give credit to my amazing coaches who provide this information, who have done this, who have used and implemented what I'm going to share with you to make their business 6 figures and beyond. And that coach from today's episode is D'Angelo Kennard. He is an amazing fitness coach. So he's in an industry where it's very saturated, right? It's the fitness industry. It is very competitive. And yet he has been in the industry for either over 20 or 25 years and is a 6-figure earner and has been at that level for a while. But the reason is because, and he's a trainer, right? So he's a fitness trainer, but he's also a coach. And in an industry that's competitive and being in the industry over 20 years, this was before the digital craze, right, that we're in now, where it's easier to scale to make that six figures, right? And automation allows you to make that six figures a little more quickly. He was doing this before all of that became popular and normal. And so he provided so many ways that you can be creative in generating revenue in your business that I absolutely had to give you this information because you need it. And it's going to open your mind to consider other ways that you can bring in revenue so you're not always depending on client to client, one to one, or business to customer, or business, even business to business, right? You have other options and you need to know what those are so that you can continue to grow your revenue quickly, scale to six figures, and then scale beyond because you have multiple sources of revenue coming into your business where you're still serving in one capacity or providing one product or focused on your one area of expertise. And that's fine. This doesn't require you to be a coach who is coaching on how to invest in real estate while you are also over here doing stock trading, and you're also over here doing event planning, and you're also over here doing another thing. No, this is your business. This is your one focus. This is your area of expertise, but these are multiple ways that you can bring revenue into it. So let's get into it. Number one is the one that you're doing. As a coach, you're already doing this. And so it's the obvious one. You're coaching clients. Either you're coaching clients business to customer, so you to directly to the customer, so directly to an individual who is paying for your services, or you're doing one to group, right? So you to a group coaching. So we know that one. Easy. Number one, checked off the list. You're already doing that one. Number two is something I want you to think about. And this is something that D'Angelo did and I thought was brilliant, but it also took some planning and it also took some very intentionality about providing value in a way that is so, what's the word? It's so inviting, and it makes the customer say, I'm getting so much that it doesn't matter what amount of time I'm getting it in. It doesn't matter the amount of money that I'm paying. I want to absolutely use this. And so this is number two. Shorten the time that you spend with people. So I know you're like, Kanisha, is that really an avenue? Yes, it is. Because I'm going to tell you how it worked for him. So in the fitness industry, many of you know, if you ever do personal training, typically your sessions are about an hour long. They may be 45 minutes, but typically they're about an hour long. And you work with your personal trainer. And I think that's because while workouts can take that long, it also makes us feel as though we're getting our value of our money, right? If you're paying $75 an hour or $150 an hour to get your body right a week or multiple times a week, then you want to spend that, you want to get as much time as possible for your money. What D'Angelo did not change his prices, but he cut down the amount of time. So he went from hour-long sessions to 30-minute sessions, but he provided so much value. He made sure that the work that he was giving his clients and putting his clients through was still so effective, the same effectiveness as if they spent an hour with him, that he was still getting the same amount of money, but now he just doubled his income. Because now, instead of having 4 sessions a day for four hours with 4 clients, he can now have 4 hours a day with 8 clients because you cut the time in half of the time that you're spending with your clients. So now if he was charging $100 an hour, we just went from $400 an hour to $800 an hour. No extra time spent, less time with each client, more clients, more revenue. That's one way we scale, right? We all have a finite, the same amount of time in a day. That doesn't change. Not going to change. God has made that, period, 24 hours. Everybody has it. Praise the Lord. So that's an equalizer we have in life. It's what we do with it. So we can't change the time, but we can change how we use the time. So shorten the time you spend with your people. And you may say, from a coaching standpoint, you can't do that. Yes, you can. Because one, you prep your clients that they do work ahead of time before they come to the session, so that when you get to the session, you have a more intense, a more intentional conversation with them, than maybe the rambling that was going on beforehand, right? I have done coaching. I know people can ramble and they want to talk about all sorts of stuff. If you set the parameters at the beginning, come to the meeting with X, Y, and Z. We set a timer for 30 minutes. We will be done. I'm doing this so that you can get more time back in your schedule to do the activities that we are talking about that you need to do to move you forward. They are going to value the results that you get more than the time that they spend with you because they're already spending time with you. So they're happy about that. And they chose you as their coach or the person they want to do business with. So they are committed to that. That is great. But you don't have to spend a certain amount of time with them. You prepare them ahead of time for what they need to bring to the meeting to make it effective. You prepare ahead of time so that you know what you need to ask. You need the questions you need to ask. You know how to delve into what they're doing to make sure that your time together is effective and conducive. And now you can shorten the time you spend with them on a weekly basis, and you can fill in their other time that they used to have with the new client. So that's number 2. Shorten the time you spend with people, then you can double your clientele, which is going to double your money. Number 3, speaking engagements. So I know you may say, what? Yes. If you're a coach, you already talk to people. If you're a service provider, you may already talk to people on a regular basis, very likely. If you're an entrepreneur who may have a product, you may not talk to people, but you have to sell in any business. So you already are talking to people, whether you're comfortable with it or not. You have an area of expertise. So start speaking, and then you get paid for your speaking. It's not any different than if you're doing a group coaching session, right? You're talking to a group of people. So whether you're talking to a group of 10, you're talking to a group of 5, or you're talking to a group of 500, speaking engagements are another avenue and revenue for your business. So let me explain one way to start bringing in your speaking engagements. Your clients that you currently have, ask your clients if their company utilizes speakers and if they think that you might be able to help their organization in any way. So I'm talking about if you are, so your client may work for a corporate office or work for a company. They have a job. Let's say they have a job. Then you want to ask them, does your job ever bring in speakers? Or even if they don't, would they be open to the help that I'm giving you, me giving it to your colleagues, your managers, your leadership? And if you have a coaching client who is paying you and they're happy with your service, I'm sure they want you to talk to their organization so their organization can be better. If you're helping them, they want the environment in which they go to work to be better as well, right? So they are going to be more than happy to encourage you, and they're going to be more than happy to promote you in their workplace. And that is a warm introduction, right? Your client who's already paying you, who's already happy and pleased with your service, is now going to connect you to somebody else in a company that you can go in to speak, go in to do lunch and learns, go in to facilitate workshops, go in to do presentations, and get paid for it. And it's a much more likely business relationship that's going to happen because it's a warm introduction, and the person who's going to be introducing you to the person that you would talk to gain that speaking engagement is going to be singing your praises, right? And they don't even have to pitch to their manager or to the company you coming in to speak. You just need to ask them, would you mind introducing me to the person in your company that I could talk to about coming in and providing the same support and service to your organization that I've been helping you with? They're going to be very interested in doing that. Most of your clients are going to be willing to help you. Now, if they don't work for a company, let's say they work for themselves, ask them about the organizations they're a part of. Ask them about the groups that they attend events at, because those individuals need speakers. Ask them about the conferences that they just went to or they've gone to in the last year or 2 years. Those places need speakers. And so you can put your name in the hat to get paid, and therefore you have a speaking engagement, which is another revenue source for your business, for you doing and talking about the same thing you're doing with your coaching clients, right? So that's number 3. Number 4, you are going to contract out your coaching services to a coaching organization that certifies coaches. So essentially you're coaching new coaches, right? And I don't know if a lot of times coaches think about this, or even entrepreneurs think about this, but if you've been coaching for a little while, you have results, you have receipts, as people like to use the slang term, that show you have clients that you have taken through your program, they have done coaching with you, they have spent time with you, and they have a transformation in their life that is matching what they started off working with you for, then you've got some legitimacy and some credibility to your name. And so you can leverage that like you would a resume and approach a coaching organization to say, I can help certify your coaches and teach them how to coach because I have done X, Y, and Z. I have clients who will tell you I have done X, Y, and Z. And so I'm able to help you coach your coaches. And that's just another source of revenue, right? It's usually contractor based. So you're not getting a job if you don't work a full-time job, or even if you do, you get to negotiate when you're going to work on that and how many hours you're going to give and that type of thing. But it's another source of income for, again, you doing what you already do in your area of expertise. So contract your coaching services to an organization that certifies coaches. They may require that you go through the certification and you decide, do I want to do that or do I not? But if they don't, that's another way that you can bring in income that is based around what you already do. Number 5. So we already have 4 ways that you can bring in money, and there's still something to go. Number 5, contract out your services to companies that provide the same service you do. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you are we'll say you're a marketing coach. I'm going to make it this easy. Let's say you're a leadership development coach or an executive leadership development coach, either one. And you have built relationships and you know other coaches in the space who are also leadership development coaches. And in conversation, you know that they have clients with larger organizations or corporations, and you offer to them your services to help them fulfill their contractual agreements with their clients. Because think about it. For example, let's say we'll use Walmart, for example. Very easy. Walmart has tons of management and leadership. It's a humongous organization, right? And you have your frontline individuals, but then you have team leaders who are managing frontline individuals, managers who are managing team leaders, supervisors who may be in between there, however that hierarchy goes. And people are contracted out to help teach those individuals how to be managers, how to be leaders, how to facilitate conversations, how to coach, how to effectively lead people. And let's say you have a relationship with somebody who has landed a contract with Walmart to provide leadership development coaching to Walmart for the next 6 months. And they are going to be providing this service to 2,000 of their managers, leaders, mid-level managers. That's a large order. That's a tall order. That's a big account. They may not have the bandwidth currently to handle that. And you would think, who would go after an assignment or a contract and you aren't able to support it? Hey, people in business are risk takers. So you go get the business and then you figure out how to do it afterwards sometimes, right? And so that may be the case. Or they may be in the process of negotiations and they can take this on, but they know that they're going to have to find additional coaches to help them fulfill this contract. So offer to them, hey, I'll come on board and help you to finish this project. I'll help you to fulfill this contract. I will be one of your coaches and I will support you in that. And you give them a fee. And this is collaboration. This is the power of collaboration, right? And vice versa, when you also land huge contracts where you can't fulfill the order yourself and hey, I'm going to have to do 8 workshops every week for the next 4 weeks for an organization, and that's just too much time on your plate or it's too much bandwidth, hey, I can write into the contract that I'm going to bring 3 additional coaches on to help me facilitate this. And now you do the same thing. You go to your network and you say, hey, I know your business. I know how you work. We have a relationship. I've seen a little bit of your work. Do you want to come and partner with me to fulfill this contract of business that I have landed, right? And so obviously you're going to get the bulk of the share of that revenue, but then you pay whatever rate you and your colleague agree on for them to help you fulfill your contractual obligations to your new client. So that is another way. And we often don't think about that collaboration because unfortunately we think about competition, right? We think if Susie and I are going after the same company, or well, we'll stick with that. We're going after the same company for a coaching assignment that's going to be 6 months for this company, then it's either she or I. But it doesn't have to be. It could be you could talk and say, hey, whichever one of us gets this, if I can provide support for you, let's talk about a rate that I'm willing to come in and do that with you, and then we both win, right? And so consider that as an opportunity to bring in additional revenue. Contract your services out to your colleagues in the coaching space, your colleagues in your industry space, to help them deliver on their contractual agreements. And you get paid, you get exposure, you get to build relationships with that company and with those individuals. And that's always going to further your business than you having nothing and nothing to do with it, right? Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, check your local community centers, nonprofits, and social services offices to see if they need workshops done and presentations done for their staff or the people they serve, right? So nonprofit, social services, they serve people. Local community centers, they serve people. They may need workshops done. They often do. They may need presentations done. They may need educational sessions done for the people that they serve. They pay for those. Do you know about them? If you don't, this is your cue to go find out. Likewise, they also have staff that also need coaching, that also need training, that also need the education and the expertise that you bring. Offer that to them as well. And so that is an area that so often we don't think about because we think there's not a lot of money in it, or we think it's too hard to get into it, but have you tried? And it's another avenue, it's another revenue source where you're dealing with an organization that's constantly and consistently going to have this need because they are constantly serving people, they have staff. And so that need is going to be there. So if they're already providing this and they need speakers, you're just filling in the gap of where they need. They just need to know about you and you need to know about them in order for that to become a revenue source for you. So that's number 6. Very easy. Number 7. Okay, so add new coaches to your roster of your clients. So we talked in number 4 about contracting your services out to an organization that trains new coaches, right? In this situation, take new coaches or struggling coaches under your wing and coach them. So let's say again, your niche is we'll use D'Angelo because he does this. He's a fitness coach. He is a fitness trainer. He's a personal trainer. He also, as he grew his business, recognized that other trainers were struggling in their business. They were struggling to be consistent. They were struggling to build a successful business as he had already done. So he began taking them under his wing. So now not only is he coaching and helping one-on-one clients to improve their fitness level and their physical fitness, but now he's taking on trainers to help them build a business, to be a personal trainer, to work with their clients. So you're already in that business. Now you're just adding the additional revenue stream of teaching people who want to do what you do, how you did it. So you have your area of expertise, and then you have fitness or baking or real estate investing or parenting or teaching children how to sleep, teaching parents to get children to sleep. There's so many different coaching avenues. That may be you have your area of expertise, but you're a coach who has a business in that area of expertise, so you know how to do that after a while. So now bring on people and coach people and charge people to learn how to build their coaching business the same way you have, right? Or similar. So it's just another source of income. That's number 7. Number 8. Write a book. And before you say, oh my goodness, Kanisha, I've heard this one. Let me tell you, it's not as hard as you think about. So I'm going to give you 2 things that may help you. 3 things, actually. So number 1, absolutely, I'm going to say AI. AI will help you write a book nowadays. You can put in the outline. You can create the outline of the book that you want to write. You put that into AI. It will basically write the book for you. You go in, you edit it, you put it in your voice. You are done in a short amount of time. And I don't know yet. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it. Maybe it's just because I'm not in the space, but a ton of people complaining about, oh my goodness, this book has been written by AI. No, they're concerned about, do I get the information from it that I'm looking for, or the entertainment from it, or both? People are looking for value. Very rarely are we concerned about where and how it was developed, right? Watching the kingdom of God, and then we're not trying to do anything that is against him or outside of his will or of the other kingdom. But in general, most people are like, it's not so much where it came from, it's, am I getting out of it what I need? You know, that radio station, what's in it for me? Yeah, that's it. So number 1, easy way, write a book. Utilize AI. Number 2, it doesn't have to be a long book. So I don't know if you've read this book called Eat That Frog. And I haven't read it in forever, but I remember it because it was such an easy read. And I want to say, like, the pages, I looked it up, and it's 144 pages. So it's a good sized book. But I want to say I remember the pages being very sparsely written with words and very easy read, very quick read. And so it did not take long to read it at all because chapters were short, the spacing was big, right? It wasn't hard. You can write a book like that. Again, people just want the value. And, you know, attention spans are so short nowadays that even better if the book is an easy read and still provides value. Oh, people are doubly happy. So write a book. The third way that makes writing a book easy is include stories, right? So you don't have to be like, I only have this limited source of information, because you're, as a coach, you should be continuing to develop and learn yourself. That's how you continue to be able to effectively help others learn, because you're constantly learning. You're teaching them what you know, but you're constantly learning, because if you just teach what you know now, eventually people will pass you and you'll have nothing else to offer. But sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't have enough knowledge in my head to write a book. You do. But if you're concerned about that, right, include stories. We as people love stories. We learn through stories. We remember stories. So make sure you have stories in your book about things that you've experienced, clients with no names that have had situations that you've helped them through. How people love that. And so it makes writing the book easier, because it doesn't have to just be an information manual, which can be powerful and important, but it can also be boring, right? And so add some stories. So those 2 things will help you write a book. Write a book, because then you can sell that. And once you write it, all you have to do is market it, mention it every time you're on a podcast, mention it every time you're talking to your customers, mention it every time you're at an event, mention it every time you're at a networking event. And as sales become, we'll market the book, obviously. And as sales come, that is passive income, because you did the work once. Marketing is ongoing, but you will have revenue coming in from that. And especially in our digital age, right? Self-publishing is so much easier than traditional publishing, but both of them work. And either, you can go either or both directions, but either will bring in money. So write a book. And also, the wonderful key is it gives you credibility. If you can say, I'm a published author, people, we just take you seriously, a little more seriously. So write a book. That's number 8. Number 9, government contracts. So I'm hearing about this. Maybe it's a buzz for me because I've heard about it and now it's caught my attention. Now all my algorithms are delivering this information to me. But government contracts are money that the government, and in the US, and you can do these internationally, money that the government will pay you to do the work that they need done. The government is one of the largest employers, if not the largest employer in the US. I would imagine it's probably the largest employer in most countries, in a lot of countries. At the same time, they contract out so much of their work to get done to businesses. So be a part of that, get that revenue. And you may think, especially as a coach, you may think, I coach people. I facilitate workshops. I speak about a particular thing. The government doesn't need this. Yes, they do. Because the training that you would do and the coaching that you do and the expertise that you share that you would provide to a corporation, it's no different than what you provide to a direct customer. And so it's no different from the government would say, we need that provided to our staff or to an organization that we're contracted with and what we work with, or for a conference that we have coming up. But all of that's done through a contract with the government. That's all it is. It's just a contract with the government versus a contract with your client one-on-one that they sign versus a contract with a corporation. It's just with the government. And there just is a little different process that you have to go through, but it's another revenue source that opens up a whole new area of opportunity for you. And so, number 9, government contracting. I'm going to give you a couple of sources. One, sam.gov, sam.gov is a source where you can go to see federal contracts and go explore and see and search what's available and what can I, in my niche, what can I contract with the government to provide services for that I get paid for, right? And we can usually count on the government's money. That's federal level. Check with your local and state government to see what contracts they offer. They do as well. And then I'm going to give you a resource on YouTube who I follow, which is Kizzy Parks, Kizzy. Her last name is Parks. I think she's a great teacher in this area, so go check her out. Number 10, do your own event. This is another source of revenue that you can do in your business. So let's say as a coach, you coach real estate. You are a fitness coach. So we'll use D'Angelo again as a fitness coach. Do your own event annually or semi-annually where you do a retreat. And as a fitness coach, you do a 3-day weekend retreat to kickstart somebody's new fitness journey, or as a recharge for their fitness journey, or as an introduction to a new methodology for improving your fitness and your health, or a competition. Oh my goodness, how fun would that be, right? Like, who doesn't love competitions, especially in the fitness and the sports world, right? So you could do an event, but this applies to any coaching or any business. So let's say, like I said, you're a coach in real estate. Do a 3-day conference where you bring in real estate gurus, or you bring in investors who are actually looking to spend money, to people who want to find the houses, flip the houses, what have you, and you connect them and you educate them. My goodness, who's going to pay for this? Yes. But it's a one-time event. It's not something you have to continue to do over and over. You do have to plan for it, right? And depending on how you decide to do it, you can do it virtually, you can do it live and in person, you can do it locally, what have you. But there's so many avenues to do it, but it's a one-time event that, depending on small or large, it doesn't matter, brings in revenue, because obviously you're going to charge for admittance. You can have sponsors, you can have vendors, and all of that revenue is coming in to cover the costs. And that is a one-time a year, once every 6 months event, maybe once a quarter event that you have. There's another source of income that supports your niche of a business. So those are 10. I'm going to give you the 10 ways, again, of how you can bring revenue into your business, still under the niche in which you operate. So number 1 is one-to-one, customer to customer, or business to customer or business to group coaching. We know that. Number 2, shorten your time with your clients to double the clients that you serve, and so therefore double your revenue. Number 3, speaking engagements. Number 4, contract your services to a coaching certification company or a coaching training company so that you are one of the coaches within their organization that helps train new coaches. Number 5, land those corporate clients. Number 6, nonprofit, reach out to nonprofit, community centers, and social services organizations to see if they need presentations, coaches, teachers to facilitate information for them in an area where you're an expert. Those opportunities exist. Take advantage of them. Number 7, coach coaches. So people who are coaches and want to build their coaching business because you've already built a business, coach them. Bring them into your fold. Number 8, write a book. Share your expertise with the world. Passive income, do the work once, pays for itself over and over. Number 9, get into government contracting. And I will also tell you this little snippet. You will be surprised to find that you should check out your local university, colleges, your SBA, because they offer free classes on how to get into government contracting. Free for business owners. There you go. Number 10, do your own event. Schedule a retreat, schedule a conference, schedule a workshop, and invite people and charge. And I want to give you a bonus one before I go. Number 11, collaborate with other coaches to do the event, or collaborate with other coaches to help them work for their clients, because collaboration is currency. So we talked about collaborating with your colleagues. I don't know if I mentioned that in the 1 through 10, but we talked about collaborating with other colleagues who land accounts and they may need help to fulfill those contracts. Absolutely. But also collaborate with them to do an event. So number 10, do your own event. Number 11, do events with colleagues who have similar or parallel or complementary services that they offer. And then you can reach a bigger crowd, and then you can bring in more revenue. So I have given you 11 ways for you to generate revenue in different ways in your business, still under the one niche. There's no reason you can't take at least one of these. So this is my challenge to you. Take at least one of these revenue streams as a method and decide that you're going to add it to your business in the next 4 weeks. Now, in doing that, you're going to decide that you may not do it fully, right? Because government contracting takes a little while to get into. And some of these may take a little while to get traction, but you're going to decide which one it is, and you're going to start that traction. So that is my challenge to you. So in the comments below, tell me which one of these revenue streams you're going to add to your business in the next 12 months. And I will look forward to seeing and encouraging you and continuing to teach you about how you're going to build your business to 6 figures in the next 12 months through all of the information you're getting here from the Coach Up podcast, hosts, me, and speaking as I do, and in this series that we're in over the next 30 days through September 30th. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share this with somebody. Help us get to 10,000 subscribers by the 30th of September. See you tomorrow. 30 days straight. We're here. We're going to get it done.